Have you ever felt a wave of sadness or anxiety wash over you, seemingly out of nowhere? What if these experiences, these echoes of emotions, weren't entirely your own? What if they were inherited, passed down through generations like heirlooms from our ancestors? This is the captivating premise of inherited family trauma, a concept that challenges us to look beyond our own lived experiences to understand the profound ways in which our family's pasts shape our present. Science is beginning to uncover a more complex and interconnected picture of human experience. Inherited family trauma suggests that the emotional burdens of our ancestors, their unresolved pain and suffering, can be woven into the very fabric of our being. Exploring this concept allows us to develop a deeper understanding not only of ourselves but also of the intricate tapestry of our family histories. In his groundbreaking book, It Didn't Start With You, renowned trauma expert Mark Wolynn delves into the fascinating world of inherited family trauma. Drawing on decades of clinical experience and cutting-edge scientific research, Wolynn offers a compassionate and insightful guide to understanding how our ancestors' experiences can linger within us. He provides readers with practical tools and techniques to identify and address these ancestral wounds. Through compelling case studies and clear, accessible language, he illuminates the pathways through which trauma can be transmitted across generations. Wolynn empowers us to take control of our emotional well-being and create a more fulfilling future for ourselves and generations to come. Imagine a family photo album passed down through generations. As you turn the pages, you see smiling faces, joyous celebrations, and tender moments. But what about the stories that lie hidden beneath the surface, the unspoken pain, the unhealed wounds? This, in essence, is the concept of inherited family trauma. It's the legacy of our ancestors' unprocessed experiences, their fears, their sorrows, their secrets, woven into the very fabric of our being. These events might include war, genocide, displacement, abuse, neglect, or the untimely loss of a loved one. While the initial trauma might have occurred generations ago, its effects can linger, shaping the emotional landscape of subsequent generations. By acknowledging the potential impact of their experiences on our own lives, we can begin to untangle the threads of the past and create a more hopeful future. Inherited family trauma doesn't reveal itself in a straightforward manner. It's not as if we inherit a specific memory or a detailed account of our ancestors' suffering. Instead, it tends to surface in more subtle, often confusing ways. We might find ourselves grappling with unexplained fears or phobias, experiencing intense emotional reactions that seem out of proportion to the present situation, or struggling to form secure attachments in our relationships. Think of it like this. Imagine a family living near a river that frequently floods. Over generations, they develop a deep-seated fear of water, even if they haven't personally experienced a devastating flood. This fear, passed down through generations, becomes an ingrained part of their family culture, a legacy of their ancestors' experiences. The transmission of trauma can occur through a variety of mechanisms, such as conscious or unconscious storytelling, as children overhear snippets of family history or witness their parents' emotional responses to certain topics. Other times it's transmitted through nonverbal cues, such as body language, facial expressions, or even the tone of voice used when discussing certain subjects. The impact of inherited family trauma extends beyond our thoughts and emotions. It can manifest in our physical bodies as well. The body, as they say, keeps score, holding on to the echoes of past traumas long after the events themselves have faded from memory. This can manifest in a wide range of physical and emotional symptoms, often leaving individuals feeling confused and searching for answers within their own lives. Individuals grappling with inherited trauma might experience chronic pain, digestive issues, autoimmune disorders, or skin conditions without any clear medical explanation. They might struggle with anxiety, depression, panic attacks, or a persistent sense of unease. Relationships might feel like an emotional minefield as patterns of codependency, avoidance, or reactivity emerge. These symptoms often arise because trauma, at its core, is an experience of overwhelming stress that disrupts the body's natural equilibrium. Imagine a tapestry woven with threads of different colors and textures. Each thread represents a generation in a family's history, and the colors and textures reflect their experiences, both joyful and painful. Inherited family trauma, in many ways, is like a hidden pattern within this tapestry, a recurring motif that emerges across generations, even when the original source of the pattern is obscured by time. Tracing the threads of trauma through generations is like piecing together a complex puzzle. It requires careful observation, a willingness to listen to the subtle whispers of the past, and an understanding that trauma often reveals itself in indirect ways. These patterns might manifest in a variety of ways. Perhaps there's a history of mental health issues in the family, such as depression, anxiety, or addiction. Maybe there's a recurring theme of broken relationships, domestic violence, or financial instability. Or perhaps there are unexplained fears or phobias that seem to defy logical explanation. While scientific understanding of inherited family trauma is still emerging, anecdotal evidence and case studies provide compelling insights into its profound impact. In his book, It Didn't Start With You, Mark Wolynn shares numerous stories of individuals whose lives have been touched by the legacy of their ancestors' trauma. One such story involves a woman named Sarah, who struggled with an intense fear of abandonment despite having a loving and supportive partner. As she delved into her family history, she discovered that her grandmother had been abandoned by her husband shortly after the birth of her first child. This event, though never discussed openly in the family, had cast a long shadow, influencing the relationships of subsequent generations. For many years, the idea that trauma could be passed down through generations was met with skepticism from the scientific community. However, the emerging field of epigenetics is providing a biological framework for understanding how this transmission might occur. Epigenetics explores how environmental factors such as stress, diet, and exposure to toxins can actually alter the expression of our genes, influencing not only our physical health but also our emotional well-being. Imagine a musical score. The notes on the page represent our genes, the blueprint of our being. Epigenetics, in this analogy, are like the musical notations that tell the musicians how to play those notes. How loud, how soft, how fast, how slow. In the context of trauma, epigenetics suggests that traumatic experiences can leave a chemical mark on our genes, altering their expression and influencing the way our bodies respond to stress. These epigenetic changes can then be passed down to future generations, even in the absence of the original traumatic event. Identifying family trauma patterns is akin to carefully peeling back the layers of wallpaper, uncovering the stories hidden beneath the surface. It's about becoming an investigator of your own lineage, looking for clues that reveal how the past might be shaping your present. The first step in this process is to cultivate a sense of curiosity and compassion for your family history. As you delve into your family narrative, look for recurring themes, patterns of behavior, and unresolved emotional wounds that seem to repeat across generations. Pay attention to the stories that were passed down through your family, both the ones that were told and the ones that were left unsaid. A family tree is more than just a genealogical chart. It's a visual representation of your ancestral landscape, a map that can guide you toward a deeper understanding of your inherited trauma. By creating a family tree that extends back at least 3 generations, you can begin to see the patterns and connections that might otherwise remain hidden. As you construct your family tree, go beyond simply listing names and dates. Include key life events such as births, deaths, marriages, divorces, migrations, and any known instances of trauma or hardship. Note any recurring patterns of illness, mental health issues, or relationship challenges. Look for clusters of similar experiences across generations, as these can provide valuable clues about the potential impact of inherited trauma. Talking to older relatives in particular can provide invaluable insights into your family's past. Sometimes the most profound insights into our inherited trauma come from paying attention to the subtle ways in which the past bleeds into our present language. Mark Wolynn, in It Didn't Start With You, introduces the concept of core language, which refers to the repeated phrases, thoughts, and beliefs that we inherit from our families and that often reflect unresolved emotional wounds. These phrases might seem innocuous at first glance, but they can carry a significant emotional charge, often reflecting the fears, anxieties, and limiting beliefs of our ancestors. For example, you might find yourself constantly saying things like, "I'm not good enough, I'm going to fail," or "I don't deserve to be happy." By becoming aware of your core language, you can begin to challenge these inherited beliefs and replace them with more empowering and life-affirming narratives. Strategies for healing inherited trauma. Imagine a bird born in captivity, never experiencing freedom. Healing from inherited trauma is like that bird learning to soar. Recognize how the past shapes us and break free to create a new narrative. Healing is personal, no one-size-fits-all approach. Key strategies help navigate this complex terrain. Acknowledge inherited trauma in our lives. Section 2. Rewriting the narrative, transforming limiting beliefs. Imagine a script passed down through generations, etched into our being. These lines reflect fears and limiting beliefs, shaping our thoughts and behaviors. Rewriting the narrative involves identifying and challenging these beliefs. We have the power to choose a different path. Section 3. The ripple effect, healing ourselves, healing generations. Imagine a stone dropped into a still pond, creating ripples that extend outward in all directions. Healing from inherited trauma is like that stone, its impact radiating outward, touching not only our own lives but also the lives of our families, both present and future. When we embark on the journey of healing our own inherited trauma, we're not just healing ourselves, we're also healing the generations that came before us and the generations that will come after us. By breaking free from the chains of the past, we're creating a new legacy for our families, one that's characterized by resilience, hope, and emotional well-being. This ripple effect occurs because healing from trauma is not just an individual process, it's also a relational one. When we heal ourselves, we also heal our relationships with others. We become more capable of forming secure attachments, setting healthy boundaries, and communicating our needs effectively. These positive changes can then be passed down to future generations, creating a ripple effect of healing that extends far beyond our own lives. Section 1. The legacy we choose. Key takeaways and reflections. Mark Wolynn's It Didn't Start With You reveals the weight of the past and the potential of the present. We're intricate threads in our family histories, shaped by our ancestors' experiences. Wolynn guides us through inherited trauma, showing how emotional wounds pass through generations. Trauma's legacy seeps into our families through subtle cues and epigenetic memory. Yet the book offers hope, empowering us to heal and create a new legacy. Section 2. Beyond the Horizon, Embracing the Potential of Healing. The journey of healing from inherited family trauma is a deeply personal and courageous act. It requires us to delve into the depths of our family histories, to confront uncomfortable truths, and to challenge the beliefs and patterns that have been passed down through generations. It's not about blaming our ancestors, but rather about understanding the circumstances that shaped their lives and the ways in which their experiences continue to influence our own. Wolynn provides us with a toolbox of practical strategies to navigate this transformative journey. From identifying our core language, those repeated phrases and beliefs that reflect our family's unresolved wounds, to creating a family trauma timeline that visually maps out the patterns and themes that have emerged across generations, he equips us with the tools to become keen observers of our own lives. As we begin to recognize the ways in which the past lives within us, we can start to disentangle ourselves from its grip. We can challenge the limiting beliefs that have held us back, break free from unhealthy relationship patterns, and develop healthier coping mechanisms for managing stress and emotional challenges. Final thoughts on inherited family trauma. Recognizing and addressing inherited family trauma is an act of profound love and compassion. It's about honoring past struggles and creating a brighter future. Healing ourselves is healing the world around us. We have the power to heal, grow, and create a legacy of love. The journey may be challenging, but the rewards are immeasurable. By shining a light on the past, we illuminate a brighter future.